Hi and welcome to Chef Class Patisserie. I'm Chef John Schneeberger.
I'm Becky Burridge.
And I'm Rachel Malcolm.
Today we're making a laminated dough. We're making a classical Danish pastry. This is so good. It's going to have 428 layers of dough. It's going to have 427 layers of butter in between. So it's going to be fluffy and light and really delicious. All right, Rachel, you're set up over here already to put kind of stuff together, make our dough.
Yes, chef.
Can you talk us through it, please?
Absolutely. So I'll just give you a list of our ingredients for now. We have butter, which has been nicely softened. We've got eggs and egg yolks, a little bit of milk powder, some regular quality table sugar, and then we've got some really good table salt. And in here we have a mix of two different flours. We have bread flour in here as well as pastry flour.
Okay, why? Why am I using two flours?
You're using two different flours because the bread flour is going to have lots of gluten and it's going to give you that thickness that you want for the outside
So it's
crust.
building structure with the bread flour?
Yes.
Beautiful, okay.
And then the pastry flour is going to give you your nice flaky little layers in between.
Okay, so fluffier, different
Fluffy.
protein level.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful.
And in here we've got our yeast, which has already started to bloom with some water, so it's rehydrating. You want to leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes. And you want to use lukewarm water, not hot water, or you'll kill the yeast.
Okay, so and we know it's rehydrating, we know it's bloomed when we get the foam and the bubbles on top,
Yes,
right?
chef.
Okay.
It is alive.
It is alive, excellent. So we're going to start, and you're going to do a certain method of putting this together.
Yes, chef. It is a straight dough method. So what that means is we're going to very carefully put our yeast and our water in the very bottom of the bowl. And then we're going to add our flours on top to protect the yeast from basically our salt, because our salt will kill the yeast.
Okay, so let me see if I get it right. Yeast and water?
Yeast
nice
and water.
warm, 5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes.
Fantastic. Flour on top,
Yes, chef.
then everything else on top to protect the yeast and water.
Yes, chef.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to put the sugar on first because yeast loves sugar.
Okay, a little bit of dry milk powder.
And then we go add our eggs.
So this is really pretty easy,
And
right?
oh, very easy and completely safe to do at home.
So if I was to make this and I had a machine, I could cut, of course, the size of this dough down. If I had a machine, I could mix it with the dough hook in a machine.
Absolutely, and it would take a lot less time. It's going to take us a little bit to mix it here today.
Okay.
All right.
I will take that off you.
Sure.
Fantastic.
And then we
You
start
get to
mixing
the
with
work.
our hands, so it's going to get dirty.
Okay, here we go. So you just want to pull it together in the bowl so it doesn't make a mess on the table. Classically, what we would do is put our flours down, make a well in the center, put everything into the well, and start working from the center kind of out. This is just a simpler way to make sure that we don't have a huge mess on our hands. And as it starts to pull together, then we're going to move right to the table and start kneading. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to tip it if you want to scrape it out. You've already got the messy hands. That's great. And I'll move this aside. Perfect.
Okay. We want to gather it all together in a nice big ball and try and work it into a dough. So what you want to do is you want to pull from the front and push from the back.
And it's going to take a little bit of time for the butter to actually incorporate. So just keep mixing. And now it's just going to be mixing for the next 3-4 minutes. So tell me when you're tired and I'll jump in.
I'm just tired of being sticky.
Okay.
It's coming together.
Wash your hands. I'll jump in for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want any of these?
No.
Okay.
Just build some muscles. The nice thing about doing this by hand is the fact that you get the feel for the dough. It's much, much easier to do it in a machine. If you're going to make this in a machine, one of the tricks that you want to use is letting it mix until it comes away from the sides of the bowl. What's called cleanup stage. Then you keep mixing it until it's smooth like a baby's bottom, just beautiful, satiny smooth. And that's called peak of development. And that means that you've got your gluten pulled exactly where you want it to go. So already it's starting to get smooth. I'll let you do a little mixing. Okay, so we've been rolling it. We've got that beautiful, smooth, satiny structure. You can see this dough is really firmly developed. But the nice thing about this dough is because of the amount of butter in it, it's still very, very soft. You can see it's going to be really quite tender when we work with it, right?
It's going to fluff right up and it's going to be beautiful.
Amazing. All right. So typically what we'd do is we'd allow this to rest. We just built all this gluten and I cover it up, right, on a little bit of a dusted table. And we're going to let it sit probably for 10-15 minutes. Don't want to go too long because of course you have yeast in here. So you don't want to waste all the CO2 production, but it has to be long enough to make sure that you've allowed the gluten to relax. So 15-ish or so minutes covered. And it's really, really important to make sure that the dough is always covered because you don't want to get a skin on the dough. If you get a skin from air, it's oxidation on the outside of the dough, what will actually happen is that crust will stay. And when you make your danishes, you'll end up with kind of a crusty, almost gelatinous texture inside. And that's not very nice at all.
Not pleasant.
No. So we're going to go ahead though, because we want to show you how to laminate this dough right away. Lamination means that we're going to put fat, believe it or not, butter inside of the dough. So we're going to roll this out, and then I'm going to talk to you quickly about how we put that butter together. So if you want to start rolling, we're looking for a rectangle. Let me just give you a rectangle here. We're looking for a rectangle that's roughly that big. Thank you. So while Rachel is rolling that out, let me explain what I did. You can use shortening for this. You can use butter for this if you want to. You can do a combination of the two, whatever you like. What we did is we took a special shortening that's literally called special pastry shortening, which has a bit of a higher moisture content, and mixed it together by hand with butter. And then we took that, softened it up, and rolled it out on a piece of parchment. So I roughly have the size of 2/3 of the dough right here. And this is going to go inside of our Danish pastry. And we're going to incorporate it using what's known as a single fold. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like you got yourself all nicely rolled out, nice even thickness.
Yes, chef.
We'll just tuck our ends in. We'll make sure we've got the size we want from our rolling fat right here. Okay, so that we're ready to go. And this is nice and easy because you can take your French rolling pin if you want to, doing it this way, and roll out the fat if you want. It really makes for a nice, even, thin coating. And then we're going to take it, we're going to open it up like this. It'll hold on, no problem. And we're just going to flip it over. Just like that. Now, we've got about 2/3 of the dough covered, so we're going to do the same thing. We can take our hands, and we can just spread this out. You don't want to have it too close to the edges. Yeah, but only about 2/3 of the dough. There we go. That's great. And then what we're going to do is we're going to laminate. So this is called a single fold, but because it's the incorporations where we put the fat in, we're not counting it as a fold. I'll explain what that means. So the dough in half, right? So now it's covering 2/3. Then I take the rest of the dough and I fold it over like this. Now I've got 3 layers, and that's how I start. I start with 3 layers. And these 3 layers then, when I do that same fold again, will be 9 layers. And that's called the first fold. It's a single. Single's always times 3. Then we're going to roll it out again, and we're going to show you. I'm going to roll it out again, and it's going to be a book fold, or times 4. We'll do that right now. So by the time we're done, we're going to start with 3, the incorporation, times 3, times 4, times 3, times 4. I need a calculator. You can do the math at home, but it's about 428 layers. All right, so let's take a little bit of dusting flour again. We don't want it to stick to the table at this point. Okay, we're going to turn our dough. And Rachel's going to roll it out lightly. Here's the thing, again, if you have a brush, brushing off the excess flour is a great idea. We don't want to have it in the dough. We're rolling with minimal amounts of flour. Same thing, every time you roll with it, if you can let it rest, it's a great idea. If you can take your dough, put it on a tray, stick it in the fridge, allow the fat to harden up, it's a great idea. It's really going to help with rolling. So here we want to make sure that we roll from one side to the other so we don't push the fat out. Okay, and you can see that the dough is developing. And again, this would be a lot better if we allowed it time to rest, but we want to make sure that we show you how this is done. So we've got roughly our dough. We're just going to flatten it out a little bit, make sure that we're rectangular. When we do a book fold, so the first one, remember, was this. We folded it over, and we took the other piece and folded it over. And that gave us 3 layers of dough. A book is times 4. So I mark it in the middle. I take this one and fold it over. I take this one and fold it over. And then I put that on top. Now I have 4 layers. All right? So I've taken my dough. I folded the outsides in. And then I folded those 2 layers on top of each other as well. And that's times 4. So now we have to let this rest. You're working with a Danish pastry, so the pastry dough is softer. It's not like puff pastry. It's a beautiful dough. You're going to eat it. It's going to be really nice and moist. Having those 428 layers are going to add, again, to fluffiness, to lightness, to texture, to flavor. It's going to be quite incredible. So we're going to let this dough rest. We're going to go ahead and roll it out another times 3 single and times 4 book till we have the amount of layers that we want. Hey, we got a great chef tip for you. Why don't you have a look? We'll take a little break, and when we get back, we're making Danish. Hi, and welcome to Chef Tips. All right, let's talk a little bit about fat. So, all fat in baking is considered a shortening because it shortens gluten strands. It literally coats all the gluten strands and keeps things nice and tender. So in front of us, we have some shortening right here, and this is a vegetable shortening, and next to it is butter, the old standby. So if I'm making tea biscuits, if I'm making pie dough, I really like to use shortening. It has a nice moisture content and keeps things light and fluffy and flakes them up. Over here, butter, amazing when I'm making muffins or when I'm making cake or doing something of that nature. The big difference is shortening doesn't melt at body temperature and butter does, so butter leaves me with creamy, gorgeous, I just love it. Welcome back to Chef Class Patisserie. All right, as promised, we're ready to go. So our dough has been resting. You can see it's got a beautiful satiny smooth feeling. We've done all of our folds, we've allowed it to relax, and now it's ready to roll out. So, you're on?
I'm on, Chef.
Fantastic. Okay, over here to Becky. Becky, you're set up to do a really, really nice cream cheese filling that we're going to put into our Danish, right?
Yes, Chef.
Can you walk us through that, please?
We have softened butter that's not melted, so that we don't need melted.
Okay. So we worked it by hand and softened it up?
Yes,
Beautiful.
we do not put it in the microwave.
Okay, so we don't want it separated, in
No.
other words. All right, okay, so in it goes, nice and soft. Wonderful. I'll take that away for you.
And we have icing sugar that's already sifted. It goes in with the butter because it creams together very nicely.
Is it important to sift the icing sugar?
Yes, so it's not lumpy.
Okay, so if there's lumps in it, there's going to be lumps in this. So always sift your icing sugar. Okay, great, in it goes. And now what would we do?
We're going to mix it by hand, but you can also do it by blender or wooden spoon.
Okay. So is it important that we put the icing sugar or the sugar with the butter first?
Yes.
Okay, so it makes it nice and smooth, right?
Yes.
Sugar always helps butter kind of fluff up and get light. So you could make this really light if you want to in a mixing machine, paddle attachment, and let these beat together till they're really, really fluffy. That works great. We're going to do it by hand because we want a little bit of a stiffer batter when it goes into our danishes. Right? And you just keep mixing. And it's important to have your product pre-prepared. So Becky's already been spending a whole bunch of time making sure that the butter is soft, that the icing sugar is sifted, and that the cream cheese is ready to go as well. There we go, almost together. And again, you want to make sure that you have a very even incorporation. Let me grab this for you and I'll put these in when it's time. So again, a lot like making cookies, right? We're making sure that the sugar and the butter is nice and evenly blended. Again, all that butter actually smells really good. There we go. Okay, so we're in. So you can see this nice, smooth, beautiful texture. Very pliable. Wonderful. Now we've got our cream cheese. And the same thing, we've been working with it a little bit so it's nice and pliable. Looks gorgeous. In it goes. Okay, and the recipe calls for some vanilla and to taste, right? So we're just going to add what we think we might need. We're going to give it a taste at the end and then decide, do we need more, maybe a little bit less. There's so much stuff you can do with this. We're going to go ahead and put these Danish together, the first ones, just with our plain cream cheese icing. But to be honest with you, it's very easy to add chocolate to it or cocoa to it, which we're going to do with some, to add some coulis, some fruit, whatever we want to have. And again, to do with, we'll do a little bit later on, So this icing is very simple to work with. It's very, very versatile. Stuffs inside a product really wonderfully. And again, when we're all said and done, we're going to have something that's totally edible and delicious. So now it's time for a little bit of muscle. So you're going to give your hands a quick wash? Excellent. So we're just going to go in and we're going to give it a blend. Okay, yeah, come on over. Give this a little bit more. Make sure you're happy with it because you're the person in charge. What do you think? Okay, so the only thing left to do is give it a taste, right? You're going to give us, you want to have a taste as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, spoon, spoon, spoon. What do you think? Enough vanilla? Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Really smooth, really delicious. So, let's get some muscle on that and get it nice and smooth. I'll take these away for you. There we go. Okay. Now, we also have a piping bag ready to go. I think it's, here we are. So we just used a plastic piping bag. There we are, folded it over. We've already cut the tip a little bit. We're not actually going to put a tip in here. We're going to take some of our cream cheese filling and fire it inside. And it's going to make filling our Danish very easy. There we go. So a half full. Flip it over. Crimp the ends. And we're ready to pipe. We'll move that aside and leave this right here. Okay, what do you think? Wes, very nice job. All right, so again, typically we've worked with a dough, and resting is important because every time you work with that dough, you're going to make gluten. And gluten's going to, as soon as we cut it, is going to make things pull back. So normally what we would do is cover this up, give it 10 minutes or so, let it relax. Today we want to make sure that we get everything in on the show so you can see exactly how these are done. So we have an accordion cutter ready to go. So we're going to pull it out. Again, looks like an accordion. You're going to pick the size that you want, and you may actually have a measurement that you need. So you're going to put a ruler up against it and say, I want 3.5 inches or 4 inches or how many millimeters that you might want. And once you've decided, it's ensuring that you do the cut. So you see the way that Rachel's hands are over top. We're going to bring this right here so it's level, and she's looking at the end to make sure that we're even with the end so that there's no waste. Are you good? Okay, and away we go. Okay, so a lot of pressure. If you didn't get it all, if you didn't push hard enough, you can go over a second time. Yep, there you go. There you go. So quite literally what's happening is a lot of pressure is being applied down. Now we talked about gluten. So if you take a look at the dough, if we would allow this to rest another 10 minutes or so, the dough wouldn't be pulling like this. And you can see, just to make sure that we're cut right through, I'm just going to pull my cutter along the same line. But the second I do that, it wants to pull back. So letting it rest is an excellent idea. Okay, one more line. So we're going to do the same thing again, pushing down hard on the dough. And now we have gorgeous, perfect squares. We're just going to take the excess stuff, move it aside so we can show you what we're doing. I'll just grab those off you and get them out of the way. Sure. Excellent. Now, we want to make pinwheels, we want to make stuffed cheese Danish, and we want to make almost like a turnover, right?
Yes, chef.
Okay, so can you take us through that, please?
Okay, so to make our pinwheels, what we're going to do is we're going to need a pizza cutter. We're going to go very carefully on the corner, and we're going to go towards the middle, but not completely to the middle. We're going to continue on the other side, just straight on through. Then we're going to go the opposite way. You want to leave about an inch of space in the middle for your topping.
Excellent. Okay, let me and Becky jump in just for a second here. Becky, come on right in here. So we're going to put these together. So it's really important when we're putting them together to make sure, again, we have a little bit of moisture. An egg wash works wonderful. It's going to give some brownness. But right now, we just want to make sure that we get some stickiness happening. The big trick then is how you put these together. A lot of people will take the edge and bring it right to the center. I think that's wasting a lot of the dough, and we can get a much bigger Danish. So what we're going to do, and you're in charge, is we're just going to take always the same side. So if I'm standing in front of it, I'm going to grab the right side. If you want to, you can grab the left side, as long as it's the same side all the way around. So I'm going to grab the right side, and I'm going to go into the center at the top of the cut. Doesn't sound like a big difference, but if I take it and go to the middle, I actually make my Danish smaller. So we do that, and away we go. You need cream cheese. All right.
So I'm going to start with some just straight fold over ones. I'm going to do about 4 of those just to give you a good idea of how we do this. And
I'll hold it for you.
perfect. We just want to get the edges wet so that when we fold it over, it seals down properly and we don't lose any filling onto the parchment, because that is going to burn. Fold it over, tuck it in nice and gently.
Nice. And I guess the idea is making sure we have uniform size, right?
Yes,
So
chef.
using the accordion cutter gives us that beautiful evenness, and that each Danish is going to be the same size, which doesn't just help with look, it helps with baking. If they're all the same size, they bake all nice and uniformly, and you get a much nicer product come out. Now you've got one more type to put together. Fantastic. So this is my favorite, this one here. This is very, very simple and really, really beautiful to make. So for a cream cheese Danish or something where you want to see the filling, I like this. Okay, so we got 5 more on their way. We type a nice big line of filling. Look at that. Ooh, that looks good. That's okay. Okay, we can start picking these up carefully and laying them on the tray. Great. So how do you make sure these are sealed?
For these ones, you just want to wet the corners. So you're going to take this one here and you're going to tuck it around and push it down under so it's nice and down. And then this one, you take around and you wrap it all the way around and under nice and tight.
Okay, so you want to actually take it and crimp it right here. So you want to squeeze that together, but you can't see it when it's underneath. And this then will bake and will not pop loose. Remember, we've got yeast happening. So yeast wants to push things up. So if the Danish isn't tucked under well, it'll actually grow out and up and it'll pop back open again, and it doesn't look nearly as nice. Okay, they look fantastic. So a little egg wash on the outside, which can be whole egg if you want it. I like egg yolk and milk. Mix together, brush it very, very gently, get off the excess flour, and they're ready to go in the oven. We're going to take these, we're going to throw them in the oven at about 300 and let's say 50 to 75 degrees. If you're in a convection, make sure that the fan is not too high. They will bake in about 10 to 12, 14 minutes, depending upon the size that you're making them. Of course, the bigger, you're going to go with a little bit less temperature and a little bit longer time. What do you think?
Pinwheels need some filling, Chef.
Pinwheels need some filling? Okay, so Becky's on that, so she's going to take her piping bag and pipe right to the center. Beautiful, there you go. You know what? Some strawberries, some raspberries, some fresh fruit, some chocolate, whatever you like on top of that right now.
That sounds amazing.
That's delicious. Excellent. All right, we're ready to go to the oven? Let's go over to the oven. All right, it's time for these to go in the oven. They're beautifully proofed. They're ready to go. There we are. Fantastic. Now all we have to do is bake them. Why don't we take a little break? We're going to get back. We're eating stuff. Welcome back to Chef Pat's Patisserie. You know what? I promised goodies. Look what we've got. So we've got this gorgeous chocolate Danish right here. Again, come on, 400 layers. This is amazing stuff. We have ones filled with strawberry, and all we did is we took that lovely cream cheese filling. We incorporated some strawberry and raspberry coulis into it. And here are the ones that you guys made with the traditional type of cream cheese filling. So it looks fantastic, but you know what? We have a little bit of garnishing to do. So you're ready with some chocolate, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have some lovely chocolate. This is a ganache. It's chocolate and cream together. And Becky's going to make this look beautiful. Here we go. Ooh, yeah, hit it. That looks fantastic. Right over the edge. To leave a little bit on the plate. We're going to serve this to our guests, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, that Looks amazing. You have a flat glaze, so this is icing, sugar, a little vanilla, and some water, right?
Yes, chef.
Okay, so let's make that look amazing. Nice and thick, and exactly, a nice slow smoothie paste, and look what you get. So it's thick enough that it doesn't actually blend in, and you get that icing look on top. That looks very, very cool. Here, we're going to put a little bit of flat glaze on as well. There we go. Just to give it a bit of sweetness. And because we're serving this immediately to our guests, we're going to make it look incredible. Let's move those aside and take a look at those. Look how beautiful that is. That's what I would do.
Don't forget about Restro 213, chef. It's the college
Student-run
student-run dining room in the
Student-
college.
yeah.
It's made fresh every single day.
Incredible food.
It's incredible, and the prices are
Thursdays
cheap.
and Fridays, lunch and dinner.
Yes, the lunch is buffet, and dinner we have an a la carte menu.
Oh, and the food is amazing. You really got to come down to Loyalist College and check it out. The link is on the website.
The link is on the website.
Yeah, and the extension is 2213. Come on, give it a try.
And don't forget about the loyalisttv.com, which you can see past episodes and recipes.
That's right, loyalisttv.com. It's an amazing website. You really got to check it out. And you know what else? Next week, we're making cinnamon buns and Chelsea buns. Come on, you want to be here for that. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Chef Class Patisserie.